Hi everyone, I am here with another movement video, and this one in particular is inspired by my mood today, which is I do not want to move at all today. And I find there's a surprisingly low number of videos catering to people that are just not feeling up for it. People that might be suffering with chronic fatigue or just generalized fatigue overall, exhaustion, or people that just maybe over the years have gotten disconnected with their bodies and maybe just don't even really know where to start. General malaise, things like that. And on days like this, it is so hard. It is so challenging to get into the right headspace, I find personally, and I know that there are people out there that feel this way too, to get into the headspace where you actually even want to move your body, because sometimes it feels just like this insurmountable feeling that you, not only do you not really know where to start, you kind of don't even want to start because you don't know necessarily how, oh, my cat's about to jump on the tripod, hang on, we'll see where this goes. Nope, she decided not to. Cats. What can I say? Anyway, I don't want to talk too much, so that was actually a good segue. But this little movement, it's not a workout necessarily. Don't let the term workout scare you, but it's not really a workout. It's more so a movement to get you into the flow of your body. And I'm going to be giving very basic movements, somatic expressions that your body can perform, hopefully given that you have the right range of motion, but modify accordingly for what feels right for your body, because obviously not everybody has the same level of flexibility, mobility, strength, etc. So obviously moderate accordingly for what feels right for you, and over time and with practice, you will find that your body becomes much more malleable, much more in touch. You will start to feel your body more, and you can build off of it. So I wanted to give something for you guys who maybe want to get into working out again, want to get into moving again, or maybe those of you who do work out or don't work out and just don't feel like moving anyway. Because if there's one thing I've learned from having chronic pain myself, from dealing with grief and loss, which puts us into an entirely different emotional state and psychological sense of well-being, for those of you who can relate, it can be really, really challenging to feel the connection to our bodies. And I feel like it's something that I definitely wanted when I was in the real pit of despair with my personal grief story or whatever. Honestly, it's applicable to so many different things. If you're just in a general emo mood and you're mad at the sun for even being out, I feel you. I've been there. I feel it a little bit today. I've been listening to a little bit too much My Chemical Romance. So without further ado, let's get into this. Again, moderate as needed, and let me know anything, any comments, any questions, any considerations that I can do for you. I don't know. Let me know. I'm just gonna wing it and see where this goes. These are things that I find work for me personally. I'm just gonna be starting as though I'm a little tiny unicellular organism that barely knows how to move in my environment. Actually, to be fair, from a biological standpoint, they're pretty good at getting along in their little environments. It's one of the things they're better at. But anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. Let me see where we can start that works for me. I'm coming from my place of fatigue and malaise today. I am channeling that right now. So let's get started. I'm gonna back up a little bit here to show you. This is a nice, easy pose I think a lot of people can get into. In yoga, it's called lightning bolt pose, and it's very effective for just kind of letting your body sit and relax, but it's also wonderful for the digestive system. It really lets things sit in a proper position for letting things move through your body. So even just sitting in this position, if you can see from the side, I'm sitting on my heels. You can spread your feet out if that's easier for you. You can sit like this. If you want to stretch in your feet, you can even sit like this. That's a little more challenging, but getting those feet waking up, that's important too. You want circulation everywhere. You want connection everywhere. So I'm gonna be sitting like this. I'm just gonna gently massage my legs. I'm just gonna run my hands up and down them and feel what that sensation feels like. It feels really nice. It feels really nice. I think it's important to touch our own bodies and get that sense of orienting to our environment. As I've said in my previous mobility movement video, I think a lot of us lose touch with our environment, and we even lose touch with our own bodies sometimes. And it's really important to just kind of feel the sensation of what it feels like to run our fingers over our skin. Right now I'm actually giving myself goosebumps, which is really cool. And see if you can do it too. See if you can do it. See if you can. That's a really cool exercise and sensation, is seeing if you can actually give yourself goosebumps with your own touch. That means you're waking up, man, which is really super cool. You're waking up your body, you're waking up your physiology. You're already getting more in tune if you can do things like this. Now, if you're sitting on the couch or laying in bed watching me and you don't even want to do any of this, you can do this. Can you just try this? It's really cool. It's kind of trippy. It's awesome. So back to that digestive element. If you're comfortable, I know some people aren't comfortable, some people are ticklish, but you can even just kind of like rub your hands over your stomach a little bit. You don't need to put any pressure, you can. It feels good, but just like that. Just feel what it feels like, feel the sensations, and then your lower back, over the backs of your kidneys, and just kind of like, sorry if that freaks anyone out. I know some people are freaked out by the conceptualization of where their organs are, but hey, it's part of you. So it's good to be in touch with it. Yeah, so that's just where I'm gonna start. Just getting in touch with my body, feeling it. Nothing crazy, nothing intense, just being in there. I don't crack my knuckles because that freaks me out when people do that. I've never actually cracked my own knuckles, but just feeling my hands, For those of you that want like an epic workout, I struggle with that too. I've put on yoga videos before, Qigong videos before, Tai Chi videos before, and I've been like, I want to work out. I want to sculpt my body. I want to condition my muscles. I want to get stronger. I want to get faster. This is all par for the course. This is all really important. You see some of the best athletes in the world. You look at the animal kingdom, my cat, for example, Miss Nova. They spend a lot of time getting into their kinesthetic awareness, getting into their bodies. The best athletes in the world, I believe, are doing a whole lot of different things. It's not just what you see on the field, on the court, whatever, wherever, in whatever capacity you're watching these people, they are doing a lot, and a lot of them are naturally more in touch with their bodies. I just inadvertently cracked a knuckle. Did you hear that? Wow. Freaks me out a little bit, but anyway. Probably shouldn't be freaked out. Probably says more about me that it freaks me out. Probably should delve into that a little more. But anyway, let's see where else we can go with this. Let's try the foot flexion thing. If you can do this, follow along. I'll show you from the side. So you have your feet like this, and you just sit your heels back, and you get a nice little stretch. See if you can do that. You can kind of rock around. Waking up your feet is huge. It's so important. Our feet are such a sensory part of our bodies. Same with hands, obviously, but we tend to use our hands a little bit more as humans these days. But feet, unfortunately, tend to get overlooked, so it's really important to stretch them out, to feel them. Go barefoot if you can, as often as possible. Waking those tootsies up. Now, let's try some arm movements. If you can, let's start circling and just getting some blood flow to our extremities, because that's huge, that's important. Cats, for example, felines in general, but domestic cats specifically, sleep on average about 16 hours a day. But you'll notice if you own cats, they will get up and stretch periodically. And one reason for this is blood flow and circulation, which is important for all of us animals. So you could do the wrists. Starting to feel better already. And obviously tune into your breath. Breath work is really popular right now. It came along with the Wim Hof method. People do a lot of deep breathing exercises, which is really cool. But I'm a believer that breath work is very personal. And if there are people who are practitioners in the world of trauma, post-traumatic stress disorder, that believe that breath work is very personal. So as long as you're tuning into your breath, that's really a good place to start. So just be aware of your breath. If you feel like taking a deep breath, take a deep breath. But I'm not going to tell you what to do. Just be aware of it. You don't necessarily ever want to stop breathing or be holding your breath, but just be aware of it. That's super, super important. So where else can we go from here? If you can, sit cross-legged, and we're just going to start to do some thoracic opening. I'll show you from the side. We want to get the spine starting to get engaged, so almost like a seated cat-cow. So the cow, I guess it would be chest forward, and kind of get that neck up, chin up, and stretch, and you can kind of move your head around. Feels really, really nice. And just a little bit of opening. And then curl back. Ooh, and this is a cat. Yes, it is. And really stretch into that. Curl back and stretch into that. And really feel the flexion of your spine. Cracking. Oh, there was a crack. Forward. And back. And try to get as full of flexion as you can, and over time you will build on this. Your spine is is really meant to be flexible. Actually, every part of us is meant to be a little more flexible than it is in the average person today. I think it's part of the reason there's so much chronic pain in the world, but obviously chronic pain itself is brought on by a lot of other stressors. It can be environmental stress, psychological stress, emotional stress. A lot of things play a part, and it's important to be mindful of what the root cause is of our aches and pains, because one thing I've learned personally is that if you don't pay attention to those aches and pains, they will get worse, and they will yell at you, and eventually they will scream at you, and eventually they can become way worse. They can develop into worse things and illnesses. So something I'm learning as I get older, and unfortunately not everyone learns that early enough to take care of themselves. So one thing I really want for you guys is to tune into your body, because not just inside, but up here too. So if you're dealing with chronic stress or just generalized stress, your body's going to tell you. It will eventually. Even if it hasn't yet, pay attention. I bet you anything, there are things your body's telling you that you might not have paid attention to yet. So please pay attention, seriously. Even if you don't do this video, just listen to what I'm saying, and please just try to tune into your body and feel if you're a little more lethargic than usual, if your digestive system feels slow. Let's go side to side a little bit. If you have, beginnings of arthritis, stuff like that, just pay attention. A lot of it comes with age, but a lot of it can also have preventative care. Yeah, cool stuff. So let's do an extension of that movement. And put our legs out a little bit, and just, actually, you know what, like spread your feet about a little less than a foot apart, maybe, about hip width for me, apart, and do cat-cow from that again. So cow, and then cow. You can get a little further flexion in the back this way, which is really nice. So hopefully none of this is too strenuous. And if you see what I'm doing and it looks like way more than you're doing, that is fine. That is okay. That is to be expected. I do these movements a lot. I don't do them as often as I want to, but there's always room for building and improving. And if you're starting from a place where you don't have great mobility or strength or flexibility, that's normal. That's fine. That's the world we live in today. A lot of people are not as tuned into that kind of stuff as they used to be. If you can, now this requires some kind of open hips, but get as close as you can. This is very popular in martial arts, grappling and etc. If you can actually keep your feet kind of the same reasonable place, and then just switch them around and really open those hips up. You can do a twist to one side and then again. I did this in my other mobility, my first mobility video, and this is something you can build on too. I got more flexible in doing it. Let's see how straight you can get your legs, not locking out your knees. You don't want to necessarily lock out your knees. You can eventually when you feel like you have the flexibility and mobility in your joints, but joint mobility is really important and it can be really helpful in your overall health. So I like to point, keep my back straight as though there's a line pulling your spine up to the sky, and point my feet, really feel that, feels really good. And then flex, and then point, and you can go slow motion. Flex. Morpheus, what if I told you that everything you believe about feet is a lie? You can take the neon green sock or the charcoal space-dyed sock. I hope you liked my Matrix reference. I planned that. I'm just kidding, I didn't plan that. That was totally ad-libbed. But yeah, here's a nice movement for getting out of the Matrix. If you like that movie, picture this movement video. If you do this, if you're doing this now, or if you are watching it now and thinking, I don't really want to do this, you do it in the future, which is fine too. Think of it as you are being freed from your little matrix pod and you're moving your body for the first time. You're getting out of all that nutrient goo and it feels weird and you feel like you haven't moved in years, but it feels freaking cool to be in touch with your body again. All right, so yeah, knees are a really great joint to feel flexibility with. Elbows to anything that connects. Ankles, that's something we can do. We can do ankle rolls. This one you might fall, which is fine. It's actually really healthy to fall and to learn how to fall well. You're better off learning how to fall well than avoiding falling altogether. If you can learn to fall well, that's awesome. Maybe one day I'll make a video on how to fall well, but I'm still working on that myself, so I don't know if I can instruct on that yet. But we're gonna need a little balance point here, so try to find your sits bones, which isn't a real anatomical term, by the way, and it kind of always miffs me when I hear people say that, but it's fine, it's cute. But try to find, I guess what would be actually technically speaking, anatomically speaking, the back of your pelvis, and really try to balance on that. And we're gonna raise our feet up. You can do more of the flexing and pointing if you want, but I'm going to outwardly rotate my ankles, my feet from the ankle joint, and then you can reverse direction and go inward. So with any part of your body, having mobility there and having flexibility there will not only get more circulation to the area, it will help you avoid pain there. Because the more circulation you have, that means the more things are being flushed out more often, and blood flow helps with keeping things from being stagnated in your body. One of the things that no biological organism really ever wants, even trees, is true stagnation. You always want movement, you always want motility within any organism. Motility is what keeps organisms alive. It's what keeps cells healthy and oxygenated in a healthy way. Let's get rid of free radicals floating around, that sort of thing. Anything that causes cellular damage tends to slow down cells in certain ways. Obviously, cancer is different. That speeds up cellular production, but that's a different beast altogether. We won't get into that. Anyway, let's do some neck movements. The neck is really important. Sometimes I do neck earlier, but because I do my chronic pain exhibits here in my right shoulder, I like to move my body a little bit before getting to neck, just so that it's a little bit warmer and there's already a little bit more circulation just based on the movements I did beforehand. Neck is huge. Neck is super important because this is the seat of our mind, right? Within our brain. This is where we feel our consciousness lies. So within that, there can be a lot of heaviness. People that get migraines, people that get headaches in general, neck pain, upper shoulder trapezius pain. It's where I hold my tension. I'm a big ruminator. I ruminate on things, and I noticed, for me personally, when my chronic pain started here, it was actually when I left the East Coast to go out to the West Coast, and I had to leave my mom behind, who at the time was sick. Looking back now, I'm kind of putting the cards together and realizing I think a big part of the chronic pain exhibiting was coming from stress, holding tension in my body, realizing I was closing myself off to an extent, to having a close physical ability to see my mom in person even though she was sick. So that was really hard on me, and my body definitely responded. Our bodies tell us things, guys. It's a very real phenomenon. It's not necessarily woo-woo, although if you want to believe that it's spiritual, that's totally okay. But I believe it's very much part of the physical realm, and I believe that just because we don't necessarily have the science to represent exactly where that connection lies, it doesn't mean that there isn't actually a very strong scientific basis for that type of connection. Anyway, back to neck. Let's tilt the head up and get as far back as you can comfortably, but you don't want to strain. If you ever do strain, relax into it. Don't try to snap out of it really fast. Try to let every muscle around whatever strain you have relax. That's the biggest thing you can do, is to relax into a strain, because if you try to snap out really fast, you run the risk of continuing the strain or making it worse even, something I've learned the hard way. So always try to relax into things. That goes with everything, honestly, being a human these days in this chaotic world of ours. Try to, if you find yourself getting stressed about something, try to relax into it. Try not to react with more stress. Try to think, moderate, regulate, orient, attune to the person you're with, attune to if they're more frantic than you are, see if you can be a little less frantic. It's big. I'm learning that. I'm no expert. I'm learning it too, but let me tell you, it makes me feel a little more sane in an insane world. Okay, we're gonna bring the chin down. We wanna keep the neck kind of upright and bring the chin down as much as possible towards the chest. Not so much curling as dipping. Try to feel the back of your neck as long as you can. Long meaning lengthwise. Make it feel as vertically long as you can. You kind of move your head a little bit on its axis. Not access. Axis. Two totally different words, totally different meanings. This one's cool. A lot of people, I don't know, in the 80s, fitness boom, dance, a lot of bad information came out of that era, let me just say. We're not going like this with our heads and our necks. No, that's a little too crazy. Let's not do the Vogue. I think actually the previous information was trying to take this ear as low down as you want. No, we don't want that. We don't want to crook our neck like that. What we want to do, get a little closer for this, is take this ear and bring it up to kind of touch the ceiling. Feel like this ear is touching the ceiling, and then this ear touching the ceiling. So it's not so much about this side coming down, it's about this side coming up. That feels really good. I love that. And if you want, you can do some neck rolls, nice and slow. Yep, I cracked. Only to one side. We're not gonna go all the way around. We're just gonna go to the front. Because I don't know what your guys' neck flexion is, but I don't want to push anybody where they're not ready. Okay. It feels really good. I'm gonna try to roll with you guys. I would really like to see if you guys can roll, because that's a really important element in kind of waking up your spine, getting connected to your spine. Let's try that. Okay, you can do it. You don't have to do the whole range of motion I'm doing, but rolling is so good. We'll go side to side to start this time, because I think that might actually be easier for some people and look less intimidating. So I'm just gonna go to one side and the other. And while you're down here, let's stretch all your limbs all the way out. And just try to stretch everything in a way that feels good. You guys really explore your bodies now. When you're on the floor, just laying flat, really just try to explore your body. Like, feel what you want to feel. If you want to go back to the touching thing, please do that. Touch your stomach. Like, touch your arms. Give yourself goosebumps. I'm telling you, it's worth it. And I feel so much better now. I really do. I feel so much better than when I started. I was not having a great day. If I'm going to be honest with you guys, I was not having a great day. To be fair, I think a lot of people aren't having great days. I think we just have been trained by society to pretend that we're all doing fine. Now, that's not an invitation for everyone to info dump on each other and tell each other how horrible their lives are, but it's also really important to be mindful of your own mental health and the awareness of it, and the awareness of the part you might be playing in your own physiology, your own psychology, your own behavior, what happens to us in our lives. It's so important for us to be in contact with those things, and I truly believe that being in contact with our bodies is a big part of that. See if you can grab your knees and just kind of like roll around on your spine. See if you can feel your spine. You want your spine to have as much, like, you want it, like as I said before, you want it to have flexibility and mobility. You also want it to have a lot of warmth and loose muscles around it when you can. Obviously, it's great to have nice, tight, strong muscles. That's great. But I just mean in the sense of kind of working out the muscles around it. And I don't mean working out like working out at the gym. I mean working out like rolling them out like kneading bread with a rolling pin around your spine. So if you can do that, you will notice over time you feel better overall, because your spine is just this pipeline for your whole body that brings so many signals and so much information back and forth. And if we don't have a healthy spine, it prevents us from doing a lot of other things with our bodies that can be really healthy. So we're gonna roll again. This time, this way. Hi. Wow. You don't have to go as far back as I'm going. You don't have to have perfect form. Just roll and just relax. Don't strain your neck. Yeah, awesome. So good. So I wanted today's to be easier. So I'm hoping for those of you who maybe didn't do the last mobility one, that this one was a bit easier or more palatable or accessible for those of you who might not have the range of motion or the mobility yet. Yeah, I tried to take it down a notch, make it a little bit more inviting, I guess, for anyone who's a little scared to get into movement or who's daunted by the prospect of getting in touch with your bodies, because I understand it can be daunting, and I totally understand that we live in a world that it seems like there's just two extremes, and one extreme is people that are super into fitness and super everything is about being healthy and tracking their macros and being in calorie deficits and doing cardio or weight training or whatever. Where do we start, right? My theory is that we have to start from a very primal place, a place where we would typically be starting if we were children in an indigenous tribe, for example, that existed thousands of years ago, before the advent of all the technologies and systems we have now that make life really comfortable. That's what helps me the most. I love fitness. I love the fitness world. I love learning about fitness. I love athletic science and reading into studies and looking at research and developing my own methods of fitness. But when it comes to the body-mind connection, I really believe that that's where it really starts for a more holistic approach that you can take with you and that will make a huge impact in your life. So regardless of whether you are really, really overweight, underweight, if you have limited range of motion, I would really look into things like somatic experiencing, things like beginner mobility work, even beginner calisthenics, which is really primarily body weight workouts, things you can, if you can pull yourself up, if you can push yourself up, things like that, it really helps develop that mind-body connection, spatial awareness, kinesthetic prowess. So yeah, it's hugely important. I've had the tremendous honor of getting to know so many of you guys over the years through posting videos and reading your comments to doing my live streams and just hanging out with you guys kind of in person. Introverts unite separately. Yeah. And I care about a lot of you guys. I recognize so many of you who have been here for years and some new people who have been super supportive and awesome. And I do care about you. I care about people in general. I think people taking care of themselves and each other is a huge answer to a lot of the struggles that we see in today's world. I think it's really important. I think it's really important to be there for ourselves first, because it's really hard to be there for other people in any capacity if we don't take care of what we need first. I know it's a cliche saying at this point in time, but I truly believe that. I know it certainly helps me be a better person, a better friend, a better everything. So please guys, even if you didn't do this video, even if you just watched it and thought to yourself, I don't know if I can do that, I think you can. I think you should do whatever part of this you can do, and you will be surprised if you continue on your journey how much you will build up to and how much you can strengthen and how much you can lengthen and change. And this, just doing this today, brought up my whole mood, not just because I'm talking to you guys, because you guys are awesome, but also because I moved, and up until doing this, I didn't really feel great. Like I said, I was having a pretty crappy day, internally speaking, in my mind, just ruminating, thinking about things, thinking about all this stuff that I have to do, all the stresses that I have. Sometimes it feels like there are a million spinning plates and I can't get to all of them. But starting here is huge. So I hope you guys can. I hope you guys do. I hope you guys want to. Or I hope you guys at least see the value in it, because that's a good place to start too. Just start to see the value in taking care of yourself. Anyway, I don't want to be too preachy. I don't want to tell you guys what to do. I just am coming from a place of, I know this has really helped me, and I do care about you guys, and I know a lot of you guys want to help yourselves, so do it. Anyway, think of you guys all the time. I hope you're doing well. I hope you like this video. Leave me a comment if you have any questions or concerns or considerations. If you don't want to leave a comment, leave a like so I know that you liked it. And if you don't like it, let me know what you didn't like so I can work on it moving forward, because that's really important. When I see dislikes on my videos, it's frustrating because I want to know what I did that I could change or do better, because I always want to grow. I always want to work on things. If I'm offending people, if I'm hurting people, if I'm stressing people out, if I'm putting pressure on people, if I sound pretentious, whatever it is, let me know so I can work on it. Just try to say it in a constructive way, because that really does help, and maybe a little bit pleasant. That would be awesome. Anyway, you guys are awesome. Thank you for being you, and please continue to take care of yourselves, because that's really everything. And if you are already taking care of yourself in a really healthy way, kudos, that's awesome. Maybe take the next step and start conceptualizing, how can we take care of the people around us and other people, because I think that's the next step. Once we get on board with taking care of ourselves, how can we be helpful to other people, even if it's just in a small capacity. I understand not everyone has the energy or time to help other people, even if it's just a little thing here and there, even if it's just thinking about people in a more bright, loving way and not judging people so harshly. That's a good start too. Anyway, I could ramble on for hours and hours. This has been 39 minutes of me recording. I'm probably gonna have to edit down quite a bit. But it's just because I love you guys so much and I want to hang out with you guys and I miss you. Hopefully I'll be doing a stream soon, although I have a lot of crap coming up. It's just craziness. So as many of you know, my YouTube channel is not my main thing in life. It's just something that I do when I have the time, the extra energy. I want to do it more. I would love to do it more, but until I have that time, this is what we're gonna do. So anyway, hopefully I'll put something out again soon or be streaming soon because I miss you guys. Anyway, take care of yourselves and hope you're feeling better if you did do this. Let me know if you did it, because the last time I uploaded a mobility video, people left really nice comments and it was really nice, but only one person said they did it. So I want to know if anybody's actually doing this or I'm just sitting here moving around like a weirdo talking to myself, because I mean, I'm fine with it because I do that anyway, but yeah, you guys rock. All right, guys, rock on. It's almost Halloween. I mean, not really. It's actually September 1st as of recording this, but I get in the Halloween spirit in August, so. Okay, guys, I'm gonna let you go. All right, love you guys. Bye. I know that.